Hello and welcome. And once again, we're joined by Joseph Gitler, the founder of Leket Israel, the National Food Bank, a leading food rescue organization in the world. Joseph originally hails from New York City, and he made Aliyah. He went home to Israel with his family in the year 2000. And he has a lawyer, a legal law background, but now he's assisting Israel's needy. And Joseph appears in the Jerusalem Post, 50 most influential Jews in the world. It's exciting. Great to have you with us again, Joseph.
Thank you, Raymond, for the opportunity to be on today.
So, like at Israel, we are a food rescue organization. We rescue excess, surplus food in Israel, and we supply in the range of 300 nonprofit organizations that work with the poor, food banks, soup kitchens, senior citizens facilities. And this is all the brainchild of Joseph. And it's exciting. So,
So,
my wife and I were actually in Israel on October the 7th, 2023. It was really a very difficult moment, obviously. But for me personally, Joseph, it was an honor for me just to experience just a tiny little snapshot of what Israelis were experiencing that day and what Israelis have been experiencing for quite a number of years, even, perhaps since its inception, the modern state in 1948. So Leket quickly scrambled and retooled and went to action as Israel was going through this very difficult moment. Tell me a little bit about it, Joseph.
it's so I definitely understand where you're coming from. Yeah, that was certainly the most difficult day any of us could have ever imagined. Um, I'm so proud of what our team has done since October 7th, and specifically on the 7th itself. That Saturday night, we already were on a Zoom like this with the management of the organization, with an understanding that everything that we do probably wasn't going to be relevant Sunday morning. And that's because hotels were not going to be operating and IDF bases were not going to be open for us to pick up food. And with all the rockets, no one was going to be working. Everyone's going to be working from home. So no corporate cafeterias are going to be open. There are going to be no events. And of course, tremendous damage on October 7th to agriculture in the south, which then spread to the north. And so we knew that night already that everything we normally do, and we like to be a just regular, normal operation. We don't consider ourselves an emergency food program. We are just a food rescue organization, which means that we do what we do and we do it well. And we hope that times will just be normal so that we don't have to change our operations. But unfortunately, that hasn't been the case much over the last 5 years. And so we had two choices. One was to say, nothing we can do. We wave the white flag. But of course, no one at our meeting that Saturday night had that in their mind at all. It was, okay, life has changed. We're going to change with it. And it was obvious to us what we were going to need to do. We were going to need to uh, go out to the marketplace, tell our donors that the way we normally work for the time being is not relevant. And we're going to need a lot more money, a lot. And it was tens of millions of dollars of a
Wow.
lot more money in order to replace what had been lost. And that meant purchasing food, cooked meals. That meant purchasing produce from hard-hit farmers because the people that we serve still needed help. And of course, in every emergency situation, there are a lot more people who need help, perhaps only temporarily, but when they need it, they need it. And so we needed to spring into action quickly, which we did, of course. And I'll make one more point, and that is since October 7th, our relationship with the farming community has changed dramatically. We've just done so many more things since then to help farmers, including sending tens of thousands of volunteers to help farmers who then normally would give the crops to Leket. But this time we said to them, no, we're recruiting the volunteers, we're paying for the buses, you keep the crops. If you can't sell them, call us. We'll buy them. And in addition, two last points,
Wow.
we have multiple loan funds for farmers, and we've put together, since October 7th, a very large foundation for helping farmers replace damaged equipment. So a lot of activity, a lot of action. Unfortunately, for emergency purposes, and as we speak, that still continues. We're still in an emergency, and there's still a lot of suffering going around. And just to give you one last example, today we decided that we're doing a survey of reservist families in Israel who may need help. And so we are now scouring all the agencies in Israel that work with soldiers who are serving in the reserves, many of them who've served for hundreds of days, in order to assess who might need some extra help. And then we will be providing for the high holidays food cards for those families so they can go and feed their families in dignity for the holidays.
Wow. That's exciting just to see how the organization Leket has been so flexible. But the traditional model of Leket, firms giving to Leket to redistribute to the needy, it's almost like a giving back. And it was almost reversed now to assisting farmers. Wow.
Yeah, it's been we hate to do it, but we do it whenever we need to.
And
One second, Ray. I'm having a little internet issue here. I'm just going to switch here. One second.
okay,
Okay, see if this is better.
excellent.
Um,
That's good.
okay,
So, go ahead.
yeah.
No, I was going to
No, no,
say,
go ahead.
um, in so much of the media coverage in the immediate aftermath of the terror attack from Gaza, what was lost and what was not depicted through the media is how Israel's agricultural sector
Oh,
was so much impacted, and the region around Gaza is like the area of the greatest production of vegetables consumed by Israelis. The King of Thailand recalling its foreign nationals to come back to leave, and Israel overnight lost what 1/3 of its agricultural workforce.
yeah.
Infrastructure, tractors destroyed, irrigation systems destroyed. And then in the north, where you have predominantly, citrus and nuts agriculture being very much disrupted by rocket fire from southern Lebanon. So this put farmers and Israelis consuming food in a very precarious situation.
Certainly, it's been a very difficult 20 months since the war started. The good news is, in many ways, farming is back to normal. Our biggest issue today is still the lack of foreign workers. Many have returned,
Okay.
and it is much safer now than it was. And there were some bad incidents, unfortunately, not just on October 7th, but afterwards. But from what we understand from farmers, um, there's still about 40% um,
Wow.
foreign workers missing. And um, the farmers appreciate us and they love the tens of thousands of volunteers. But what they really want is just to get back to normal, run their farms like they normally do, sell like they normally do, donate like they normally do. But we're still in the midst of this. Um, and until a lot of people see quiet for a very long time, it may be hard to attract people to come back and help with the farming.
Wow. Well, in the meantime, Leket has been assisting tens, like you say, tens of thousands of volunteers. Um, in a typical year, 70,000 or so volunteers assisting Leket in the run of a year.
Yeah, that's about right. It's probably been 50% more than that, if not even greater,
Wow.
since October 7th. And and that's through thick and thin. That's through limitations on where volunteers could go, how close to the border with Gaza, at least in the first few months, limitations on how many people we could have working in our distribution center because we needed to keep it limited. I mean, it's so crazy to even talk about these things, but that's our reality right now. We
Wow.
needed to keep limited the amount of volunteers who could come to the distribution center in case there was a siren because we needed to get them all into the shelter.
Yes.
So if the shelter can hold 40, you can't have more than 40 people there. And so that limited our activities. And so that's been painful throughout the last year and a half plus. But the volunteer spirit that we felt from Israelis and from so many overseas visitors who really have had to struggle to even make it to Israel with the limitations on flights and the concern about maybe my return flight will be canceled. But people have still been coming in droves. It's a dedicated people. It's not a tourist destination right now, unfortunately. I wish it was. And for those of you who do come visit, if you go to Tel Aviv or Jerusalem, you're not going to feel like we're in the middle of a war, which I think is very, very important. My own son in the beginning of the war called me and said, and he's a soldier, and he said, it's very important that people go out to eat. It's very important that people live life as hard as it is to imagine. That's what we're fighting for. We're fighting for
Wow.
freedom. We're fighting for democracy. We're fighting for our homeland. And really what we're fighting for is quiet. It's it sometimes doesn't seem realistic for a Jewish person to say we want quiet, but it feels like after thousands of years, the time has come for the world to cut us a little break. But I don't know. I'll keep at it because I can't count on that.
Well, we're rooting for you. Evangelical
Thank
Christians are behind Israel. Joseph, I encourage Christians to sha'alu shalom, Yerushalayim, to pray for the peace of Jerusalem, as the psalmist proclaimed. I encourage Christians to visit the land of Israel. It's really a life-changing experience. The Bible really comes to life, and Leket provides that opportunity for Christians to be involved and to volunteer to get some Holy Land soil under your fingernails. But also, if you can't visit Israel, then you can support Israel with your giving. And please visit the link, visit our website, Christian Friends of Leket.org. I provide the link below. And you can be involved. You can be a part of what Hashem, what the Lord is doing in the land of Israel. Joseph, before you go, what are the pressing needs for Leket right now? What area do we need to be praying for and getting behind financially?
So I would say two key areas right now. One is help for those who lost their homes in the Iranian missile attacks. Um, there's still about 7,000 Israelis who are out of their homes. They're not homeless because they've been put up in hotels
Right.
and apartments, but of course, they've been left with nothing. And
Mhm.
so we're part of that picture, trying to help them, providing food and other items where needed. So support for that area is definitely helpful. And I would say also for this period of the year, for the upcoming holidays, helping our reservists who've fallen on hard times, many of whom have been serving hundreds of days, and especially those who had their own businesses. It's one thing if you worked in a company, so hopefully that company can take care of you. But if you had your own dry cleaning business or you had your own taxi service and you've been in the reserves, so you are getting some income from the reserves, but never what you had before. And so we're
Wow.
looking to help families like that as well. And those are both wonderful areas that people who can be supportive can be very helpful.
Wow. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Joseph. We pray for your peace and safety, your well-being, yourself, your family, and all Leket Israel and all in Israel. God bless you. Thank you so
Amen.
much for being with us.
Thank you.